You are looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Welcome to my daily review. Today is November 11th, or Veterans Day. So we want to thank all the veterans for their service to our country and allowing us our great freedoms. All right, the Nasdaq today, I was hoping would pull back a little bit and allow these moving averages to catch up, and it did throughout the session. It was down for most of the session. You can see I thought it was going to close lower here, but nope. It didn't want to do that. It wanted to trade higher. But that's just the kind of market that we're in. And if you've been with me very long at all, then you know that I get a little paranoid when the Nasdaq's more than 6% above its 50. And today it closed 6.6% above the 50. It's not the end of the world. They can go up to 7, 8, 9, 10% above the 50, especially in this market that's wants to melt up. It's going to be above the 50, but it's just usually, I mean, at some point we know it's going to come back if you just look at it over the history of the index. But anyway, we just take things one day at a time. Today, the NASDAQ was up 12% or 0.06%. 39% above the average daily volume. So there's really some big money coming into this market. And this is definitely a buy the dip mentality type of a market. Not just not in stocks, not all stocks. You got to be careful with that, but with the index. It's still a stock picker's market because we want to maximize our gains in the market. We don't want to buy laggards. We want to buy leaders. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, the Nasdaq is 3.7% above the 21 and 2.4% above the 10. And definitely, if you just go to the weekly here, or I could, on the daily, definite breakout here. We had the 16% correction. There's a breakout. So anybody saying this thing's overheated or it's going to crash, I mean, we just broke out, for crying out loud. We had, a nasty bear market in 2020, and then we came out of that. 2022, we had the 11-month bear market, and so now we're just getting rolling here. So I don't want to hear about, typically a bear market happens every 5 or 6 years, and we just had two of them in the last 5 years. So, and if you go back to 2018, we had another one there at the end of 2018. So we've had enough bear markets. I know things move quicker these days, but this is just the breakout here of consolidation. And, if it was a stock, you'd say, oh, wow, that's a breakout. It's probably going higher. Well, this is the index. It's a breakout. It's probably going higher. So just, keep things simple here. Anyway, I got to go to the S&P 500 because people are making a big deal about it. It closed above 6,000 for the first time ever. Yay. If you're young and you want to generate wealth, I mean, just take a look at the S&P, over time, it just grinds higher, typically about 8% a year, or, it's going to double every, I don't know, 9 years or so. So if you have that time, you have 40 years, if you're a 25-year-old kid, you should be putting monthly, money away in this and collecting dividends. And anyway, that's my long-term. I mean, you can always pick stocks, if you had Apple or Amazon in that time, it definitely outperformed. And you kind of rely on your stock picking acumen to outperform the index. That's what I do every year. That's my goal every year, is just to beat the S&P. And I think it's easier in a bear market for an older guy like me who is underinvested usually when it does this, and I'm underinvested and it's going down 20%, and it's easy for me to beat the market. But in an uptrending market, you really have to be have some acumen at stock picking. And I'm not going to get into it. Today was flat day, and I think a lot of us did pretty well. All right. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, and that tells you in the right stocks, is the point I'm getting at. Anyway, made a new high today. 304 points, 0.69%. You can see the big volume coming in here recently. It just pulled back to its 50. And we've seen a lot of charts like this where they pull back, and then, of course, after the election, it just blasted higher. But increasing volume here, 44,293 is all-time high close. But the star of the show is the IWM. And if you are, one of these people who like to put a little alpha in your stock picking, and if you like ETFs, the TNA was one that was just on fire today. Yeah, 4.5%. So this is just a Russell 3 times bull. Okay, so I don't know. Some people like that one. But the index here definitely, with Powell lowering interest rates last week, it definitely puts tailwinds into the smaller cap stocks as they need the lower rates. Anyway, that's it for me. The new administration, regulation friendly and rates coming in. It's a good environment for the market here. Well, I can't go any further without talking about the cryptocurrency action today. I think Bitcoin went up to about, I don't know, 87,000, something like that. Well, coin broke out. I've been watching this one for a while and I've been in and out, but it's just consolidated for 32 weeks. It just had a clear breakout today. And if you're a breakout trader in this market, breakout trading is doing really well. But you can see, through the pivot, with the volume, this is a weekly chart, so it had half its weekly volume in one day. You can see the volume today, 315% above the average daily volume, up after hours as well. But that's a clean breakout, and that's what you want to see if you're a breakout trader, which I am. And so a coin is definitely a stock of interest here in the cryptocurrency. Yeah, it went up to 334.86. So happy Veterans Day for all you cryptocurrency traders. Now it's 33% above the 10, but you can see, since the election, it's just been powering higher. You can see this RS line powering through the moving average is just another indication of strength. Usually I'd say, as it goes through the pivot, that's a buy signal, but it never, it closed last week. This is what I want to do. It closed last week at 273.50. And so the pivot point is, the standard pivot's 283.48. Did not give you a chance today. The lowest was 296 of the session. So there's a gap there. But if you were interested in this thing, it showed you its daily range pretty early because it got up to 314. Then we saw some profit takers come in, this one bar here, 362. So that would be your, if you're a day trader, or if you just wanted to get in, you'd say, okay, 300, that's my line in the sand. If it goes below that, then it's probably going to get into this gap zone. And so it didn't, and then it went above the 300 and I don't know, what did I say that was? 314, something like that. Yeah, 314. So it's 300 to 314. Once it went above that, that's kind of a buy sign if you're a day trader. For me, it is. And it just kind of went higher all day. You can see if I go to like a 1 minute chart and break it down even further, you can see all morning they were just, buying these dips. Every time it came down, buy dip, until they didn't, right? Sold off into the close. But we'll see how it acts tomorrow. That's a 1 minute chart. People are going to take profits. I think this breakout continues. Personally, that's just my opinion. After watching stocks for all these years, I would think it would trade higher than the 334.86. You can see it's a 20% move with 300%. That's just a move not to be ignored. So anyway, in this type of a market, this is a real melt up, strong type of market. So you got to weigh a lot of factors here. One is definitely the market conditions. The M in Can Slim is one of the most important components. And so you got a leading stock in a leading group. You can see computer, software, financials, and they're mostly Bitcoin related stuff or digital currency related. And Coinbase now is top stock, top group. I mean, what's not to like? Anyway, if you didn't get it, maybe you can wait for a pullback, an inside day or something, or trade sideways for a couple of days. But definitely one that I like. Another one that I like is MSTR, MicroStrategy. This is Michael Saylor's company, and I was listening to him over the weekend saying he believes the gold standard, this is a golden era for cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, and that the Bitcoin mining will be in its heyday, like the roaring 20s from 2024 to 2034. And at that point in 2034, that 95% or 99% of the Bitcoin will be mined. So this is the time to buy, and that's what he's been doing. Once again, if you like a little juice in your trade, I like MSTU. It works both ways, right? It cuts down. It really moves because it's 2 times MSTR right here. So there's a lot of new exchange traded funds coming out. I mean, a lot of them, and it's hard to keep up with all of them. This one was alerted to me, and I put it in a retirement fund, and I'm not going to touch it because it's just a Bitcoin thing, and I don't look at my retirement funds that often. But it paid off today. It was up 50%, but it's going to come back and probably have some sideways action. Big gap there from 97.40 to the low of 106.54. So there's a $10 gap there. Like I say, it cuts both ways, moves really fast. There it is in the weekly. It hasn't been out very long. But obviously, Bitcoin was the star of the show today. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin. If you bought $10,000 worth of Bitcoin today, it's worth 10 million tonight. Yeah, it had a nice day. So anyway, just pointing out the strength in the market. And I looked through the leaders. I might as well stop right here since I'm bringing it up. Every day I go here to the up on volume stocks, and today there was a ton of them, of course, and a lot of them were Bitcoin. A lot of them are these exchange traded funds, these ETFs, Ethereum, and so a lot of people are buying these, no doubt about it. There's a Russell ETF, Russell 2000, just yeah, and a lot of them Bitcoin related. Uh, there's your Russell 2500. So yeah, ARK had a good day today too. But anyway, I just want to point out there's Grayscale. I mean, this thing, nice move here, if you're into such things. But um, anyway, I just go there every day, and usually my point is there's usually like I don't know, 300, 350 stocks there. And today, what I just point out, like 700. So the market's a strong market. Last week, there was like 7, 8, 900 stocks up on volume during the day. And anyway, that's a good place to hunt for stocks that are making moves like this one breaking out. This is Mara Holdings. This is has earnings tomorrow, so definitely short covering as this thing popped heavily. Anyway, what else do we have? Oh yeah, Hut. I think they report later this week. Another one of these Bitcoin related names. Man, these things are just these things. These are massive breakouts here. 25% moves. What's the other one? Oh, the one that Stan Druckenmiller purchased. I saw a good interview with him recently. This one, once again, that pullback, to the moving average. We've seen this little bull wedge pattern a lot. So these dips are being bought, and you can see the last four sessions here. WULF has been on a roll. All right, that's enough of Bitcoin, don't you think? I wanted to get to a more traditional stock. This is NVIDIA. It looks pretty tame compared to those Bitcoin stocks, but this thing's setting up in a base and it's kind of playing possum here, but it's still above its 10. I know a lot of people say, what's wrong with NVIDIA? There's nothing wrong with NVIDIA. We're in the AI revolution, and the Nasdaq and that revolution is not going to go higher without NVIDIA. And I know a lot of people are talking about crashes, and if NVIDIA has poor earnings and it crashes, well, that's really going to hurt this melt up here in the stock market. So I'm thinking that it's just going to pull back to a moving average, kind of squat, stall ahead of their earnings report next week. And then that's when the thing will move. But you just take it one day at a time, and it's not doing anything wrong. NVIDIA looks fine. It's 1.9% above its 10 EMA. Any stock above its 10 EMA is a super strong stock. So nothing wrong there. But the semiconductors were out of favor today. Broadcom, another one that I like. It's not like, once again, not doing anything wrong. I mean, it's above its 10 EMA. It's just kind of stalling a little bit. It had that bull wedge action here, back to the 50, and then it popped, but now it's pulled back to the 10. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to see something wrong, you look at AMD. This thing is sick. They did report, accelerating sales growth, accelerating earnings growth, but it's just, I guess the competition from NVIDIA is just too much, and they're not buying NVIDIA here they're not buying AMD here under $150. So you just got to avoid that one until it starts acting a little better. ALAB, this is one that I like. It's a real fast moving stock. It's an IPO. Last week, I got to go to the weekly here, broke out of that IPO base, and today just pulled back Did it make it above 100? Let me go to the daily here. And I think 100 is going to provide a little resistance here. Yeah, I got to tick above, but once it gets above, and I mean closes above, trades above with volume, you'll know it when you see it. I'm not talking about just a little peekaboo above 100, a dime or 20 cents, and then coming back down. Um, I'm talking about blasting through the 100 level with conviction, with volume, with power, and you'll know it when you see it. At least I will, and I'll alert you to it. But anyway, just allowing the moving averages to catch up. Still 6.7% above the 10, so pretty hot. And, just give it a couple of days, or maybe next week, or maybe even after NVIDIA earnings, this thing might get a boost. But I like IPO stocks that move the way this thing's moving, and it's got the numbers, man. It's got the triple digit sales and earnings growth, and Wall Street is addicted to growth like crack addicts are addicted to crack. So just hang in there with that one. If you own it, if you don't, I think it's going to give you a chance to buy below 100. And when it blasts through there, that's when I really like it. It's kind of strange. You like it at higher prices? Yeah, I do. I want it to show conviction because below the 100, it could come back and fill that gap there, and I'm not interested in that. Or the low on the breakout day, the fifth was 84.11. Yeah, and the high was 72. So I don't want to make that trip to 72. That's $20 trip. So yeah, I want to wait for conviction. So yeah, I'll pay a higher price. I consider it like insurance. High is another one that I like, but it's just just pull back to its 50, forming that little wedge pattern that I really like. It was down 2% today, but it was all Bitcoin today, and it's just a rotation. So yeah, just a pull back to the 50. It's kind of pinching in here. I'm looking for a bounce off the 50. So if we get it, great. If we don't, then it should crash below, and then it's adios muchachos. Anyway, I guess I would do ARM. ARM, same thing. The semiconductors were just out of favor today, so I'm going to move on. Another group that I like is the software group. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. This is one that I really like. Had on my watch list for a few weeks, but it's just getting extended now, breaking out, up 3% today. It's over 183 now. Wow. You can see this on the weekly here. Big run. We get this consolidation period here of 8 weeks, and now it's just off to the races. Last week was the breakout week. How much was it? No, the prior week here. What, November 1st? No, last week. Nearly 9% move last week. Tacked on another 3 today. So GoDaddy looks fantastic. Another one of these, well, what should I do here? All right, I'm going to go to Team. Team reported earnings last week, I believe, and you could see this on the weekly chart. I was going to put it on today, but I decided not to. I'm kind of waiting for a pullback here. I think the markets will pull back. You can see the group, it's 41 out of 197, not bad. Really showing a lot of strength since its earnings report, but still consolidating within a base, as I can show you on the weekly. So what you want to see here is it kind of tighten up and allow the moving averages to catch up. So maybe give it a week or two, sideways action. Things are happening so fast in this market, though, it's not allowing, yeah, it's 10.6% above the 10. So a lot of stocks are extended like that. So it makes it a little tougher. MNDY reported this morning, not so good, 15% to the downside. It did rally up to its 50, then got rejected. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, okay, so it sold off at the in the morning, came up to the 50 and just went sideways all day. So we'll see if investors come back and buy that. It was not a bad report, but their COO resigned. And sometimes when management changes, Wall Street gets a little anxious. So I would definitely keep my eye on Monday. Fortinet, they reported last week, cybersecurity name. Nice move here. And once again, that bull wedge action as it pulls back to its 50, and that move has been rewarded. And so we'll see what happens with some of the other ones that I have. They have to bounce though, and they have to bounce sharply. And Fortinet certainly did. Let's take a look at Fortinet on the weekly. Last week had a strong move following its earnings report. Yeah, 16%, almost 17% move. Follows up today with a 6% move. Fortinet, very nice move. AppLovin, this one's going into the Nasdaq. 100, once again, when the stock goes into an index just like NVIDIA, it's not a reason to buy, it's not a reason to sell. It's just, there's going to be some mechanical trading around as it goes into this Nasdaq 100. So it was obviously very extended. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. That was all the action on Thursday and Friday, right? They had a good earnings report. They popped, then followed through on Friday with a 17% move. So it was up a 46 and 17. And now I think it had an inside day today. Yeah, not bad, down 1%. But you could see this move in the morning here. Whoop. And then there were some buyers coming in, still way extended. And it's 33% above the 10. So pretty tough to buy here. And I think it's probably going to have resistance at 300. So you're looking at, what did I say? The 10 was, oh my God, 214. Oh my God. So you're looking at what? If it gets rejected at 300, you're looking at 14 bucks to the upside, like 60 bucks to the downside. So that, I don't think that's a good risk reward right there, obviously. And then PLTR, another one that's been ripping higher, and this one continued higher today, over 3% move. This one's just flexing its muscles, showing strength. Look at the big blue volume bars there. So it looks good for Palantir. And I'm going to move on from the software names and kind of go to the internet group that I really like. DoorDash, this is retail. I would have to say this is my favorite weekly stock. I think this is going to be a big, big winner in this new bull market. I shouldn't say new bull market. The bull market's been going on for a while. And it's just in this uptrend. DoorDash is broke out from that. A cup with handle pattern. It's been up 10 weeks in a row. This is the 10th week here. And it's just grinding higher. I mean, hardly anybody talks about DoorDash. Just a quiet, moving stock that just trends higher. Yeah, it's getting a little extended up here. But 6.3% above the 10 could stand a pullback like a lot of stocks, but I just don't think we're going to get them. Reddit is another one that I'm putting an IPO. Video together with recent IPOs and like 1 to 2 year IPOs and like 3 to 5 year IPOs. And this is definitely one of the newer merchandise that obviously Wall Street likes. The earnings report came through recently with triple digit earnings growth, accelerating sales growth. So Wall Street likes that. And today it made a new high and just pulled back. Reddit looks fine. It just needs that green line to catch up a little bit. 10% above the 10. So we're seeing just a lot of stocks like this. And that's what you get, in a strong uptrend. CARG, this is Car Gurus, another internet content stock, blasted higher last week, had an inside day today. This thing looks very good. Once again, the sales and earnings coming through for Car Gurus. Carvana, obviously, if you're talking cars, you got to talk Carvana. And this is, just blasting higher. This has got a lot of short interest too. One of the big winning stocks you can see here of 2024 and just, grinding higher. So congrats to the longs there. That has been a huge move. Affirm, another nice move today, a nice breakout. You can see from that $50 area. This thing has been consolidating in a base here and finally moved out today. I want to show that line pin right there. Clean breakout. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Did I buy it? No, even though I like breakouts. But yeah, 57.76 was the high, broke out from the 52.48. Very nice move. What, 24% for a firm. So we like that. FLYW, this one was finance, credit card payment, not buy now, pay later, like Affirm it. This is one of those up on volume stocks that I noticed, and it blasted through its moving averages. So that gets my attention when they make moves like that. So anyway, and it was a what, $80 stock? Was it $57 stock? Okay, masquerading here at 23. Just keep an eye on it. It's got the growth numbers, right? 21, 22, 27% sales growth in the, earnings growth is triple digits. So definitely one to watch there. Institutions don't buy all at once, they buy in chunks. I got to go to the drugs. I want a new drug. This is Briumvi's parent company, the TG Therapeutics. Michael Weiss's company. This one's got that, very pronounced standard buy point here where it came up and then shook out on earnings and then came back to the 50. Now it's popped every darn day here. What, one, two, 5 days in a row. I think they reported last Monday. Yeah, and it pulled back, shook everyone out, then went higher. So that's the way they trick you in this business. Um, this is a weekly chart now. A lot of chop, a lot of shake, a lot of sideways action, and now it's moving out. This is a stock that has a heavy short interest in it. On the medical biotech's now 37. That's good. So there's some other ones going on. I'm not going to show a ton of them. I'll do that another time. Court is one of my favorites in this group. Had a big move last week. Just had an inside day today. And then Bristol Myers, they were up today, 10% move. This is very uncharacteristic of Bristol Myers because AbbVie's schizophrenic drug trial didn't go so well. And so Bristol Myers benefits from that news. Another one in the drug areas. Hims breaking out today from this definite consolidation period, this cup with handle, 20% moved. They're in competition with Novo and Lilly, and it's been my experience that the big sharks, they swallow those little guppies or minnows. I don't think to buy them. I think they'll crush them once they get their supply chain issues, resolved. And with the administration, it's more, how shall I put this without offending anyone? More business friendly, that we're going to see more mergers and acquisitions. Some of these deals go through, so I think Novo will get their Catalent deal, and once they start manufacturing, that's going to put the squeeze on these guys. So trade, yes. Invest, no, I wouldn't. Not me. Sorry, that's not me. All right. And then the last one I want to show in this area is Docs. They reported last week, yeah, on Thursday, and they blasted higher on Friday. Followed through today with a 5% move. So that is a move not to be ignored on Friday there. What a massive move there. What is it? 34%. You can see the pullback there and then the blast higher, man. Beautiful move for Doximity. This is one that came out pre-COVID, I think. 2021. Okay. Oh gosh, they went IPO right before the bear market, and so now they're just emerging from the stage one base and now climbing into their advanced phase. So this is definitely one to watch for. Not that big of a company, 11 billion market cap. So we'll just have to wait and see what Doximity has. I think this could be another one of those big winners from the 2021 IPO period. All right, I'm going to go in a direction. I'm going to switch gears here. Go to the energy group, GEV. This is just a one-way stock, just going higher every day, just ignoring the moving averages. What is it, 8.6% above the 10. So it's just, this is the leader in that group. And I'm going to put the GEV in with the CEG, which is alternative energy. This is nuclear power. Obviously, this is a laggard below the 50. And then VST is in the utility electric power, but nuclear group. And I think you can buy that thing around 143. I think that's a legitimate base here. It's about 5 weeks. It's not a flat base, but it pulled back, near its 50, and now it's breaking out. So definitely one to watch. If you don't own it, maybe you can get back in. If you missed out on that move, when it broke above that downtrend line and moved higher, now it's forming this little Darvis box and breaking out from that. So I think 5 weeks, legitimate base. And yeah, that thing's probably going higher. Talon, they reported last week as well. And this one looks good too. Once again, much like VST, where it's got this Darvis box and broke out last week above that box, no denying it, and wants higher prices. It's above 200 now, and 197.61 would be your buy point. So that one looks good as well. Since I'm on energy instead of electric utility or nuclear power, I'm just going to go to the straight up oil and gas stocks, which I haven't covered in a while because their group is so darn weak. The commodity is way low. WTI is around $70. But this is an integrated stock, EQT, and breaking out from this double bottom base pattern here. Right here. Wow, had a cup with handle. sold off because, the commodity's been weak for a while. But now breaking out of this double bottom base, as you can see here, a clean breakout up 6.7% today with volume. So another stock that nobody talks about, but looks pretty good to me on that breakout. Got to be careful because it's kind of straight up from the bottom there and might go sideways for a little bit and give you a chance to get there at 42.45, which is a standard buy point. But that one looks pretty good to me. YPF, gosh, I want to say this is another Druckenmiller stock. I think. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a Danoff stock. No, none of those guys are buying this. I think it's a Druckenmiller stock. I don't know where I heard this thing from. But anyway, cup with handle. I had this on our ready list a while back and it just wasn't going anywhere. So I just kind of, you can see it's kind of playing a possum here. When the market's, ripping, you don't want to go sideways. So anyway, last week caught hold. And now today, last week was the breakout week. Today it was up more than 2%, which is, this is not a fast moving stock. It was up 15% last week and tacked on 2% today. So definitely another one of these oil and gas stocks that looks good, as well as WMB. These are three integrated stocks. The group, terrible. Couple winners within the group though. So I just wanted to point that out. That's Williams, WMB. So anyway, I did share some oil stocks this week. I might not revisit them again, but there you have it. RKLB, this is our Rocket Lab Aerospace Defense, a name, big volume coming into this one, up nearly 10% today. Reports earnings tomorrow. So you got to know your earnings dates at this time. Otherwise, you could get hammered or you could get lucky. FTAI, they've already reported their earnings. And so pull back to the 50. We've seen this move a lot here, this little, bull wedge pattern. That had to be the earnings. They would shook everyone out and then just ramps higher. And then LOAR, this is LOAR Holdings, smaller, 8 billion market cap, but man, making new highs. This thing looks good too. So lots of different areas doing well, and if your stocks were down today, like if you're frustrated, you own NVIDIA and it's not going higher, just give it a chance, because they're going to rotate around back into those stocks as well. But kind of talk out of both sides of my mouth. I say you got to own winners and leaders. And if the market's ripping, you don't want to be going sideways, but also you have to practice some patience. And if you jump around chasing performance, you're going to miss out on some moves. So I've had that happen to me before, and I don't want to have that happen to you. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. Except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing, and that is we had a couple of earnings reports tonight. One is from Live Nation. I did see where they missed. That's not missing the previous quarter is looking in the rearview mirror, and if you're raising guidance, that's looking through your windshield. And so we want to look forward. And I guess their guidance was good. I didn't hear the conference call, but up 4% after hours. I'll have more on this in the morning. Obviously, it's ripped quite a bit, and it's above its 10 EMA. Yeah, broke out of that base there, moving higher. People are out, they're going to shows, they're dining. I've talked about the boomers taking out their 401ks and spending their money. And I'm not going to go through the cruise line stocks. Oh man, since I brought it up, yeah, I am going to go through Viking. This is my favorite in the group. But you can see the others are really strong as well. I don't know why I did that. I'm off script now. And so those stocks are really strong. How did the airlines do today? We go to Delta. Yeah, these are just strong. And like I said, wow, it's up 4% today. ALK, Alaska's another one. Yeah. So Live Nation, how about the restaurant stocks, the airlines, the cruise lines, they're spending money. So that's one theme, aside from Bitcoin. If you don't have 100% of Bitcoin, those things are working as well. The travel, leisure, the booking stocks, yeah, those are doing well. MMYT, this is an Indian-based one. No, man, I'm really off schedule now. All right, anyway, I'm going to go back. Live Nation, doing well. They must have guided higher. And the last one I'm going to cover is ZETA, ZETA, Catherine Zeta-Jones. They reported after hours. I did not see the report. Down 10% after hours. I don't know. It's all about forward guidance, though. And so I don't know what they said. Like I said, I'll have more in the morning. There's a lot going on in the market. You just got to relax, be patient, take your time. I think this is going to play out over months, if not years, and not just a couple of days or weeks. So if you have a bad day or a bad week, don't be too hard on yourself. Maybe you should audit your portfolio every week, and then for me, I try to outperform every month, and then so that means I just audit. I have to audit myself 12 times a year, and because I want to outperform the S&P, and at the end of the year, I want to be ahead. But if I'm behind, I'm not going to press into trades that aren't working. I'm going to stick to my strategy, maintain discipline, stay calm, be patient, pick my spots, get a good pitch to hit, and don't be chasing stuff. So if you're trying to beat the market on a daily basis, that's a lot of pressure. You might as well be a day trader. If you're auditing yourself weekly, and I do audit myself weekly too, but I don't put pressure. Like if I was down for the week, no big deal. I'm gonna stick with my stocks that I like. So anyway, that's just me. Everybody's got to develop their own style to match their personality. And if, like I say, if I talked to a lot of people today who are up a lot, because they were into stuff like Tesla, and the Bitcoin trade. And yeah, so you had good days, right? And you didn't notice that the Nasdaq was flat because you're up, 8, 9%. If you had coin as well and you're up 19%, you had a hell of a day. You didn't even notice that the market was flat today. So that tells you that you're in the right stocks, you're in the winning stocks. So and if you're not, if you're still holding stuff like Peloton, which has had a nice move, and it has been a real dog, then you got to, make some changes and trade out of some of these names. You know what else hasn't been doing well is the commodity trade, SCCO. These commodities are not doing well. They were for a while, but since the election, the commodities have fallen off. So you really have to be flexible, open-minded, and adjust accordingly. And this is, like I say, a strong uptrend, strong bull market. We're if you didn't win today, if you weren't up today, there's always 4 days this week, and we have the rest of the year and into 2025. So don't stress. This is going to last a while. It's not going to go up all the time, like I showed you. The Nasdaq from. I'm going to really digress here. The Nasdaq from 1999, which had the big moves. Well, gosh, it didn't go up in a straight line, right? I mean, even though it was a hell of a bull market, it had these pullbacks down to the 200, down to the 200, down to the 200, sliced to 200, then ripski. So, it's not going to go up in a straight line. And that's a major move here from what, 9,900 up to, whatever went up to 5,000. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up ever. And salute the veterans, buy them a dinner, thank them for their service.